Hello, everyone. Megan here from Romance by the Book with the lovely Marielle.
Hello.
And it is June, and we are reading I Think They Love You by Julian Winters.
This was so fun and very different from what we've been reading. So it's
Yeah.
very contemporary,
hmm
also takes place in our stomping grounds, in your stomping grounds in
Yes.
particular.
Yes.
Uh,
In Athens and in Atlanta. In Athens in the past and in Atlanta in the current time. And it's really fun. That part was really fun for me.
yeah.
In fact, we start with our prologue, which is junior year fall in Athens. Shout out to the old varsity in Athens, RIP. It's gone now. It's very sad, but go dogs. So, we have Denz and Bray, and they are going home for winter break together for the first time. Bray's finally going to meet Denz's family, and Denz is a nervous wreck.
So nervous.
So
Like
nervous.
you trying to pretend like everything's fine, but also
Clearly not fine.
like clothing options and he it's clear that he really, really, really wants his family to like him.
To like
But
him,
it's
yes. And
also
he's
clear
met
that
Bray's dad before, so that felt so comfortable, and he knows that's not how it's going to be with his family because they're very like particular, and he is like very freaked out.
yeah.
But
Bray
Bray's
is
excited.
he seems like he's more chill, which is interesting
Yeah,
because
and he's excited to meet the family. Like, he really wants to meet them. And so Denz is like, "Oh, sure, go. What could
let's
go
do it.
wrong, right?"
Gonna be great.
So 5 years later, Denz is working for his family event planning company and running all their social media. They had a huge New Year's Eve party, and Denz is still hungover on like January 2nd. But back to work. So his sister
Yeah,
reminds him that he forgot it was his day to bring the like pastries
like
for the staff
muffins.
meeting. And he's like, oh crap. So he turns around and leaves again. Um,
We get told like pretty early, like his in the prologue, we get the sense that he and Bray are like hard eyes, like
yes, big time.
forever love, like they're
Yes.
just he's envisioning future. He really wants everything to
Yeah.
go because he wants it to be for like the long haul.
Yeah.
And now it's like he hooked up with some guy at the New Year's Eve, and then he gets into the like muffin shop, coffee shop thing
Yeah.
to get the pastries. And there's some guy there that he's also like,
Right, like one of the
like
guys who works there, he also hooked up with at one point. And it's very clear he's like a one and done now. Like he doesn't carry over any relationships. It's all like one-time things, and everybody knows that going into it, and that's like all he is interested in.
and his family is also like well known because well also he like walks in there and they're like, oh, you're Cammy's brother, and he's like, my name is Denz. It's
Yeah,
I am a person myself too.
right.
um he's already having feelings.
Yeah.
um
And he right before he leaves the office, he teases Cammy about her secret boyfriend, which he sort of inadvertently found out about at one point, and she is still keeping very secret, and he has been sworn to secrecy. So at the coffee shop, he's going through all this with the whole "you're Cammy's brother" thing, and who should he run into but Bray, his ex, the one who broke his heart in college. And then I
he
wrote in my notes, "Oh, sorry, Braylon now."
also now correction.
How
He
is
also
he here?
has a British accent now.
Yes, he has a bit of a British accent, and especially like British words he uses, I feel like more so than even like an accent per se.
Yes.
Um, I've always felt like that's sort of the case for most people. Like unless you have a very distinct, like I'm from Georgia, so obviously a lot of people have a southern drawl, but I feel like people might still know I'm from Georgia because of the words I choose to use, even if I don't say them in a way that makes it sound like I'm from here. So, anyway, Braylon, how is he here? He
I'm
left
just
for London.
picturing Madonna and her like when she was married to Guy
Right. Oh
Ritchie.
yeah,
And I
for
was like,
sure. Well, and I feel like, when you're that, enmeshed in something,
you're
like it's
immersed, yeah.
hard to be, yeah. And so he left for London after graduation, and Dence has not seen him since. he asked Denz to go with him, but then he left without him because of Bray's dad, who apparently, basically was like, he's not ready. Like, you need to worry about yourself. And so Bray left on his own.
Yeah.
And
And we're
Nick
not
gave,
told like exactly what the
yeah,
combo was, but it was like Bray's dad pretty much advised him to like
to like go
not
ahead and
hold
go.
himself back for
Yeah.
for someone like him. And he
And Denz basically says, like, kind of snottily, like, so how is your dad? And he's like, well, he's dead. And Denz is like, oh shit. And so
yeah.
apparently he died 2 years ago, which is a big part of the reason why Braylon is back.
And Braylon,
Um,
like the thing that's interesting is that Dent, when Dent sees him, he's kind of like, "Oh, you are here, and how long have you been here?" And it's been a while, like it's
like
been a
over a
couple
year, he
years.
said. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And so it is like super weird for him because he was
Yeah.
like, he had left the country, so he was like gone, gone,
Gone, gone.
and
Yeah.
now he's right here, and he's been here, and he didn't know, and he sounds different, and
And
he's
now he
strange.
doesn't know what to say about his dad. It's like super awkward.
He's like, I
And
liked his dad because he got along really well with
yeah.
his dad. And then at the end, like it really hurt him that the dad,
Yeah, and I think that's super clear that he was not only hurt and brokenhearted by Braylon, but by his dad, who basically told him to dump Denz and leave. And Denz thought that he liked him as much as he liked the dad. So that was a heartbreaking thing too.
yeah.
And
So
especially once you start
he's,
to learn more about his own family and his own relationship with his dad, like how easily he got along with Emmanuel, Bray's dad, made it even harder for him to like accept that.
yeah, well, and reconcile like the fact that they were like who he thought they were,
Yeah.
him and the dad,
Yeah.
and then have the dad be like, don't wait around
You
for
got to
this
go.
loser, get out.
Yeah, exactly. So, of
Um,
course, he tries to get out of there as fast as he can. He knocks over like part of a water bottle display on his way out. It's very yikes.
they do call him like right when he's trying to figure out what he's gonna say about the dad.
Yeah,
And then of course his like former hookup Matt is like dense. And he's like,
dense. And he's like, it's dense. And he's like, oh, yeah, I forgot. Kind of like how you forgot to call me for the last 3 months. And Denz is
yes,
like,
it's
no,
like
I'm not doing this. And he just like leaves. It's very yikes. So
yeah.
at the staff meeting, his dad announces that he is retiring. He wants to hire a new CEO. The aunties insist that he hire from within and not just like post some job listing and some Joe Schmo off the street is going to come run their company. Like they're not down for
This is like a family affair.
it.
Like
Yeah.
uh, the dad started the business um when he was young, long, long time ago, but
Mhm.
like um Den's his sister, his
Cousin.
aunts, his
Yeah.
cousin, like they're like the
They
whole
all
family
work there.
pretty much works there. So
And I think it's made
it's
clear at one point that the two sisters are twins and they own 50% together, basically. And then the dad owns like the other 50%, I guess.
yeah.
And so there it's definitely a family affair. And they all get to like have an opinion. So Denz's older sister, Cami, and their lead event planner, Eric, both kind of nominate themselves to be like part of the CEO process. And one aunt tries to nominate Denz, but he kind of demurs. He's like, no, that's not for me, whatever. Until a little while later, a conversation with Cami later pisses him off enough that he goes and tells his dad that he is nominating himself after all. Um,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Cammy says he takes nothing seriously. And he tells Cammy he has a secret boyfriend. And then he's like, why the did I just say that? Like, that's so stupid. I like, what am I gonna do now? Right.
Yeah. Well, it was
So
because like that and the aunts were like, well, he's young and it's nice to like do
everything's
what
so
you want when you're
fun.
young,
Yeah,
but he can't even hold a steady boyfriend, let alone.
right.
And so he's like, I have a boyfriend,
I
but
have a secret
he
boyfriend,
does
right?
not.
So later, Denz recounts all these events to his best friend and roommate Jamie, while they're babysitting his nephew, Denz's nephew Micah, which is his sister Cammy's son. Um, it's all over the family group chat too already that he has announced he has this secret boyfriend. And so they discuss options
They'll have
about
an
what he's going to
aunt.
do.
They have an auntie who is like uh she will sniff out the tea. Like she is
Oh yeah.
committed to the family tea.
Yes.
So he's like, oof, like now
Now I'm in it.
she's like trying to gather intel and he's
Yes.
like, uh-oh.
And he has no idea what he's going to do. And finally, it dawns on him that he thinks it's the best thing for him to pretend he's dating Jamie as his secret boyfriend, who's been his best friend since they were like young teenagers. And Jamie is like, and it's always been 100% platonic. Like they do not like each other like that. They never have,
No.
they never will. It's like he can't even imagine it, which makes me wonder why he thinks anybody else will be able to imagine it. But I digress.
Yeah, I think it's more like we've known each other long enough that we know things about each other, and
Yeah,
it
that
won't
part won't
be
be
like
as awkward.
having to fix them, like tell somebody all about me so that they don't put
Yes.
their foot in their mouth. But
Um,
Jamie does have reservations,
Big
but
time.
he is a good friend, so he's like,
He
okay, I will support.
reluctantly agrees. Yes. So, Denz gets his CEO assignment. Like he has to basically plan an event on his own to like impress his dad. He and his sister
Oh,
both
and I
get
guess
one,
we should say the dad is gonna have a party,
a
like
retirement
say in
party.
April,
Yeah.
and at that time he's going to announce his retirement and he says if in the next few months one of the people who have like
Nominated themselves.
cast their lot into like the pot for has impressed him enough that he feels like they could handle the job, he
Hmm.
would announce them as his successor, and if not he would announce his retirement and like open the field,
Open
like
the
basically
search.
announce that there's a job opening.
Right.
So now there's time.
Yes. So Denz's assignment is the mayor's annual Valentine's Day gala. Um, but all of a sudden, Eric is on the list to assist him, not to have his own like CEO event, and he's not really sure like what happened there. And they're not super close, so he doesn't really feel like he can ask him either. So that's just sort of hanging like at the moment. Um, and so his mom texts to invite him and his new boyfriend to dinner next Friday. Jamie, when he tells him about it, suggests that they should do like a practice date so that they can make sure, what they're going to do and how it's going to be like. And so they go to Crema, the same coffee shop where he had previously run into Braylon, and they're trying to hold hands like on the table, and it's
It's real
super
bad.
weird. Like it's
It's so
awkward. He's like,
bad.
it doesn't even look right. Like everything is wrong with this. Like nobody's gonna believe this, right?
Yeah.
And his cousin Jordan comes in. So he's like, "Oh good, this is like a mini trial run. Like we can see what he thinks
Jamie
about
is
this."
trying to like melt into like that Homer Simpson like bush thing. And Braylon is like not Braylon,
No,
Dennis,
Dens, yeah.
awesome. Let me call him. And I'm like, you don't notice that your friend is
Your
about
friend
to
is
crawl
like
under the
disappearing
table.
or wishing he could. So
Anyway,
Jordan comes over and he's like, "What's going on?" Kind of like looking at their hands on the table, holding hands. And he's like,
picture
"Oh, this
like
is my
him like with a big grin and just his
right."
eyeballs like
And then he's like,
going,
"This is my boyfriend. It's Jamie." And Jordan looks horrified in his eyeballs
oh,
while trying to like keep a smile on his face and seem excited. And so he's like, "Okay, I gotta go bye," and like leaves. And Dens is like, "Oh, that went great." And it's like, "No, bro, it did not go great."
Jamie is deceased. Like he's not okay.
Oh my God, so
And
bad.
Denz is like, that was awesome. We totally
We
pulled
totally
it
fooled
off.
him. Oh my God, so bad. So Dens is outside the restaurant waiting for his parents to show up and freaking the F out because Jamie is a no-show and he's not
They
answering his phone calls.
they had planned to meet a little bit early so they could be there before his parents
Yeah,
and kind of, do a
settle
little.
in.
And he's been texting, he's been calling, and Jamie is not
He's not
responding.
there and it's very clear at this point he's not showing up. And so who should happen by on the sidewalk but Braylon? He is like, "Oh, I'm so glad I ran into you again. I really need your help. Like, I need to get a meeting with the mayor." He works for like a nonprofit foundation that helps out um
Like,
kids in the LGBTQ plus um area, like help him if they have problems with family at home that don't accept them, if they need help financially, if they need help with school, like whatever it is, like they
even just
help.
so that they have resources,
Yeah,
and it seems like they also just kind of provide like a space where they can find community and just
right.
be comfortable. Uh,
And so he has a party coming up, and he was trying to get the mayor to like talk about it, like to try to bring
yeah,
some more like focus onto the foundation. And so he's like, I know you know the mayor really well. Like, can you introduce us? And Denz is meanwhile still internally freaking out because his parents, he can see the car arriving. And he's
thank
like,
goodness.
okay, I'll do it. But
We know it's realistic that Atlanta traffic is
yes,
horrible. And
horrible
his mom has been texting him like updates on like where
where
their
they're at.
arrival. So he's been seeing like
Yes.
we're 10 minutes, we're just down the street, and then he
And he
sees the car
sees the
come
car
around.
pulling up and he's like, okay, I will get you a meeting with the mayor if you right now pretend to be my fake boyfriend and have dinner with my parents. And Braylon's like, what the fuck? And
But
he's like,
they're there.
yeah, but he's like, or they're there. So, and he's also like, P.S. They obviously hate you, for reasons. So make sure you make a good impression.
Did
And
you
Braylon is
like
like,
last time? It's like
it's crazy. And so his parents get out of the car. Of course, they're shocked to see Braylon, um, to say the least. Dinner,
the mom tries to be polite. The dad is like,
very
I
standoffish,
do
which
not like you.
is, yeah. So dinner actually goes okay,
He tried
shockingly.
to order for Braylon, and
Uh-huh.
Braylon's like, no, thanks.
Yes.
Actually, I'd
He's
like
like,
something else. And
I
I
want
was
to try
like,
something new. And he like orders for himself. That part's embarrassing. But even after that, like it seems to go pretty well.
hmm.
Um, and then uh
It is interesting though that like they hold hands, they do like all the not all the stuff, but like some of the things that he had been like practicing with Jamie
right.
happened kind of automatically.
Yeah.
He says something and Braylon like puts his hand on his back, and it's like
Yeah.
he's just like, why does this feel like why with
So
my friend
easy.
who actually knows me, who I see all the time,
Yeah.
it felt super weird. And this feels like
It's totally
easy peasy.
normal.
Just yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
he is
And so
internally out a little bit about
absolutely.
this.
And as dinner goes on, they get to why Bray has returned to the US and they tells them about his dad dying. He had a brain aneurysm and he died in his sleep. Everybody's awkward because of course his dad's been being kind of mean this whole time and then he like feels kind of shitty when he like is explaining all that. And so when dinner arrives, they bring Denz the wrong food and Bray like gets up to go fix it, like very boyfriendly.
I
It's
mean,
kind of
Denz was like, it's fine, I'll just eat this. I mean, he had
yeah,
ordered a burger and they gave him like a trout
like
salad.
fish. Yeah.
And
And
he
he's
was
like, you
like,
hate seafood.
this has onions on it and onions make you gag. Like,
Yeah, it's
no.
very swoony, like all the things that he remembers, and he just like gets up and takes care of it. It's very sweet. And they talk a little
And
bit about his younger sister, Denz's younger sister, Nick, who is about to graduate from high school, and she's trying to choose a college, and she can't decide. And of course, parents are pressuring her. And we get a bit of a flashback to that infamous Christmas visit from the prologue 6 years ago, which actually went great, even though Bray and um even between like Bray and his dad. Like obviously everybody else in the family loved Bray and he wasn't worried about that as much as he was worried
yeah.
about his dad. And his dad and Bray actually like got along
Well, apparently
too.
his dad like interrogates all the boyfriends that enter the house.
Yes.
And so he had seen this occur with his sister's boyfriends, and they were
And most of them
not
didn't last her in.
successful. They did not pass the
Yeah.
labyrinth.
Yeah.
When Bray was back there longer than any other boyfriend has been back there
Right.
in
And
that
he's like, oh God, is that good or bad? I don't know.
he couldn't tell.
But ultimately it seems like it went good. And so after dinner outside the restaurant, Kenneth, Denz's dad, is clear that one nice dinner doesn't erase what Bray did, and he expects to be proven wrong about this whole second chance romance. So,
So
His
skeptic. I
parents
feel
leave.
like a lot of people are skeptical about second chance romances, and
Yeah,
Denz's dad is among them.
is
He's
one
like,
one of them.
"Mm-mm."
Yes, for sure.
He's like, I do not
So,
forgive.
Denz and Braylon agree to discuss more details later about how this is going to work. And they exchange numbers. So
It's
later,
Denz. It's interesting in this. He's like, Denz says that he has not. This is the first time in years that he has saved a man's number in his phone, and I'm like, because
yes,
he has not.
and he saved him as formerly known as Bray, which was really funny. Um, so later, he's explaining the whole thing to Jamie over a video chat. Jamie, had apologized. He just couldn't do it. He couldn't lie to Denz's family. He's sort of a part of the family already, so that would have been super awkward for him. And Denz didn't really like think about that part of it, and it wasn't really fair of him to ask Jamie to do that. And so he's like, "No, I understand. Like, we're good." Um, and so Jamie asks questions
Like, let's
about
talk
everything.
logistics.
And Dins realizes that he doesn't know the answers to these questions, like which would have been like one of the first things that him and Braylon probably should have discussed. So Jamie's
There was no
also
Megan. He
what?
couldn't. There was no time. The car was pulling up.
Yes, there was no time. And Jamie's also like, P.S. You need to set ground rules. Like, haven't you like how many what rom-coms have you watched with fake dating? Like, come on, man, get it together. Like, you guys need
It was
rules.
funny.
So that you know
What
about
talking about? What kind of rules? And he's like, well, will there be kissing? Will there be? And he
physical
started,
contact rules. Yeah. And Dins is like, "Oh shit, you're totally right. I do need rules about that." And then he's like, "What if you guys want to have sex?" And Dins is like, "Why would he want that?" And Jamie's like, "I don't
he's,
know, man. That's why you need rules."
he's also like, were we gonna have sex? And he was
Right.
like,
Never.
he goes like, no, but this is a person that you haven't had sex with
Yes, which
before.
makes
So
it different.
maybe
Yeah.
anyway.
And so it's pretty funny. And so things are a bit awkward now between Dins and his sister Cammy now that they're kind of in competition for this job. Um,
He
but they,
also Dents over here, like earlier when he overhears the aunts talking to the dad about like the future of the company. There are a couple things that he hears. One is that they think that they should return to doing weddings, which his dad like pulled away from a long time ago. Part of it was because he was never spending any time with his wife, his own wife and
yeah.
family. But also, and they already don't spend like
And Dins has always sort of agreed. He never really understood the whole like why they don't do weddings anymore thing, and he's always thought they should go back to that too. And it's not until he overhears part of this, and then also later that he realizes why they actually stopped is because it was like harming his dad's marriage to be
yeah.
away that much. Yeah,
But he also, so one of the things was that, and then the other thing was that they were discussing like the potential candidates,
right.
and they were like not very complimentary about Duns. Um, and so he, it's like he has a bone to pick, or like there's
Yeah.
it,
He's
and but
feeling, yeah, he's feeling
and
some
he
type of way. Yeah,
yeah, like it feels like he needs to prove himself, but it
yeah,
does feel like even at this early point in the book, you get the sense that those kind of like barbs really like stick with him.
yeah,
And
definitely.
he doesn't, he just
Yeah,
is feeling weird. And so his sister being like kind of the favorite of
right,
the family, or like that she seems more responsible, like it's really kind of irking him, especially because he knows that she's hiding a boyfriend and that she's, it's not like she's
right.
more.
She's not some like paragon of, yeah, perfect. Um, so he sets up a coffee date with Braylon to chat about their situation. And they meet up, and it is weird at first, but Dins is trying to like keep them talking. Braylon likes tea now after living in London, and Dins is kind of horrified by this fact. It's weird. So they keep talking. They start laying out their ground rules. One, pretend to date whenever they're in public. Two, end date of April 6th, which is after the event that Dens is going to help plan for the nonprofit involving the mayor. Three,
So so that means like the that he he is trying to get that promotion, and that will have already been announced. And also the
Right.
event that Bray is putting on, or Braylon is
Yes.
putting on, will also be passed. So it's
Yes. So it's like a yeah, good date for both of them to be done. Number three, physical intimacy to include kissing only with verbal consent. And number four, no sex. So awkward how they get there.
sex. And Braylon was like, "Why would we have sex in front of your family?" And he was like, "What?"
Oh, it's so
So that
awkward.
got turned into no sex real fast because Bray went, Denz was like, I'm not gonna explain to Bray what I was thinking because that's what. And anyway, he is
Yeah.
gonna murder Jamie next time he sees him though.
Yes, right. Because that wasn't even on his mind until Jamie like brought it up. So they'll text each other every day, like memes at work and stuff, just to keep up appearances that they're like, keeping in contact.
The
Um,
the Bray of past times used to like FaceTime and call and like text
yeah,
and call and stuff all through the day. So he was like, "Oh, we could do that." And the Braylon of now is like, "I'm very busy
I'm
working.
busy at
I
work.
can't be doing
Yeah.
that."
And so then he feels like an ass because he's like, of course you're busy at work.
But they
So
settle on
then, but
text.
Braylon doesn't want his face or tags on social media. Like he's very private. He's not trying to get into Denz's whole like big world. So, Jamie already knows, about this, of course, but they agree that nobody else should know about it. And Bray makes it clear that he doesn't have anyone to tell anyway at this point, which is kind of sad. Like Denz actually brings up like his old swim team friends from college that he was really close with. He's like, "Haven't you talked to any of them like since you got back?" And Bray's like, "Well, no." And Denz is like,
Why
"Why?"
not?
And like they just sort
He's
of
like, some of those guys were really cool. Like, and,
yeah.
and you were really good
And
friends.
so it's really sad. Like he's clearly very alone in his life with his dad being gone.
Like insulated.
So
Um,
later, Den's jokes about Bray's work social media not being up to snuff, like being pretty bad. And Braylon is very offended by this. And he's like, it's like a side project for all of us, kind of like we're doing our best, right? And so as they're leaving, he takes a picture of Braylon in front of the coffee shop with his like messenger bag that has the logo of the foundation on it, like for him to use on socials, because he's like, you need, better stuff. And it's actually really cute.
oh,
Um,
but also his cousin shows. Is it
uh,
then?
well, no,
Am
that
I?
was yeah, no, he showed up with Jamie, which was hilarious. So the Carter family group chat is always popping off. We get a few bits here and there of them
Mhm.
talking in between, which is always really funny. Um, and Dins now realizes that he has to tell Jordan the truth because if he doesn't, it's going to be crazy because he already tried to sell this other story to Jordan, which was a whole ass mess. So he goes into his office.
And that's the. I mean, that is the cousin who ran into
Yes,
them.
yes,
So
yes.
he is
He thinks about
trying to.
lying, but he's like, I don't want to lie anymore. Like, then I have to. I'm just going to tell him. Like,
And also, like, what lie could you tell that
to
would
me, I was
fix?
like, I was gonna say, like, we were just fucking with you, dude. Like, because they've been friends since they were teenagers, and he knows Jamie too. So, like, I thought he could have played it off as like that was a joke or whatever, but like he decides to just be honest. And so he levels with Jordan. Jordan kind of seems relieved, which Dens doesn't really know what to think about, but that's like a problem for a later time.
Hmm.
And he's like, maybe Jordan is like harboring some feels for old Jamie. Like, who knows, right? So
But
then,
they're not close. Like, they're not that close. So he's like, okay, well,
well, he kind of
I mean,
makes it seem like they were like the three peas in a pod when they were teens, and then they all went to different colleges, and also Jordan was a year behind them, so like they all kind of separated for a while, and when they came back together, it was sort of just him and Jamie coming back together. Like Jordan didn't really like
no, and
back
they're
into
friends.
the
Like as
triad.
cousins, they're close, but they're not like
It's
in
not
each
like
other's
super.
pocket that way. Where he's going to
Yeah,
be like, hey, why are you acting weird? He just
yeah, and they do,
and
and they
he.
work together, and they obviously both work a lot. So
The other thing with Denz is that a lot through this book, you see that he seems overextended. Like he just has a lot of stuff going on, and he seems like he's very like not scattered, but he's like focuses on the thing that's immediately at hand, and
Right.
sometimes stuff happens and he like notices but moves on to, or like
Yeah.
doesn't, it doesn't register even sometimes after he's noticed a thing.
Yeah.
So this is one of those where he's like, huh, but then continues because he's got to do other stuff.
Right. And so as they're still talking, Braylon texts a silly joke and Den's like laughs at his phone. And Jordan's like, for a fake relationship, you look pretty happy, basically. And Den's is like, oh, that's like, we're not going to think about that. Right.
Yeah. He
So
does tell Braylon, which is interesting. He immediately kind of tells him, hey, just addendum to our last list.
I had to add
I'm
Jordan.
to the people who I've told. And
Yeah. And Braylon's like, ugh, fine. So later, Eric comes in to tell Dens that he is effed because Dens forgot to send the signed venue contract for the before the deadline for the Valentine's Day gala. And this is a huge problem, obviously. So,
so Dent had a sticky note on his computer that he, I guess, didn't register.
yeah.
And the
Or he
deadline,
didn't realize the
like
date had already passed. Like
the
he
day,
bossed it. It's
the
real bad.
deadline was the day before. So
Yeah.
it's like the deadline was yesterday, and today,
And today we're effed. That's basically what Eric tells him. And so he's trying to figure out what he's going to do. He can't go to his dad because he doesn't want his dad to know about it. Obviously, that would ruin his chances of like being CEO because this is a huge mistake. So he goes to his auntie Cheryl. He brings her favorite dessert from this restaurant and he explains what happened and she agrees to call and fix it for the dessert and first dibs alone to talk to Bray at the gala before her sister can. And he's like, and this is the auntie who is like the one who loves the tea. So he's like, he knew
yeah,
that was coming and he was like, okay, yes, like this is we have a deal, right? So she does it
it was
and
interesting to me
he's
that
very
he didn't
relieved.
even attempt to call and go, "Ooh, is it still available?" Because he just like immediately had to fight. Like,
Find an adultier adult to help him. Yes. Also, I will say it was implied, I felt, that he didn't have that kind of pull or those kind of connections to call and be like, can you do me a favor? Whereas he knows that his aunt does.
yeah,
So rather than even trying
it'd be
himself,
like
he
saving time.
like, yeah, decided to just let her handle it. So Denz is at his parents' house picking out an outfit for the gala with his younger sister Nick and Jamie and his other auntie Eva. It's like super serious. Always fashion is super serious with Auntie Eva, and he realizes he has no clue what Braylon's going to be wearing. And that's not great. And so Nick and him are talking at one point, and she says she knows Denz is hiding something, but she thinks it's about their other sister's secret boyfriend and not about anything with Denz himself. And so he's kind of relieved about that and just kind of like brushes it off. Um, and she also kind of admits that even though everybody else is sort of upset about or not sold on the idea of like Braylon being back in his life, she's glad because she missed him. They had gotten
Yeah,
really close as friends back in the day and it's really sweet actually when she says that to him.
yeah.
Uh and so yeah, that's the end of chapter 7 and we're kind of left in a little bit of limbo because he's realized there's still plenty of things he doesn't know that he needs to know about Braylon before this event happens. And
And it's
also
about
his
to happen.
sister's feelings are getting into this already, which he's like a little bit worried about too. So yeah, lots happening, but come back next week and we'll talk about part 2.
See you then.